So yeah, Larry, I just wanted to chat with you about the H-1B issue going on.
Hmm.
You put out a new, I think you put a new post out about some of the H-1B freezes that are happening.
Yes. Well, this is just bills that are being introduced, and on these bills, they still have to go through committee before they get like approved by the committee, and then come out for a full vote in the House of
Mhm.
Representatives. Greg Stube of Florida, he's introducing legislation to totally eliminate the H-1B program. Totally eliminate it.
Yeah. So why do you write about that? I mean, I guess I'm just curious about
Well, I just
why.
feel that people should know wh- what legislation or what bills have been introduced or what bills will be introduced, um, and how the representatives and senators are doing, so that if they don't really want the HB1 program to be totally eliminated, that they could maybe write to them, let them know that they're not in favor of it. And the reason would be that it challenges our excellence. Because if we can't hire these people that are really qualified, foreign people that are really qualified, we lose our edge. Because the American students, they're they're just applying with a bachelor's degree. They don't have like the depth of a master's or a PhD in computer science to help bring the cutting edge with what we need in our technical company, in our technology. So I just think it's really bad because it's bad for everybody because
Yeah.
American students, even if they have them on, they don't perform up to standard, then the companies suffer and they suffer. And then
Yeah.
the expert people that can help, they're not there to help.
So playing devil's advocate, um, so you write about a Florida Republican, Greg Stew, I think.
Right.
So he wants to eliminate the H-1B program entirely for all foreign students, not just India. So
All together.
this is not just affecting
Just no more visas. No
the
more
visa.
H-1B visas.
Yeah. Um, his bill is called Ending Exploitative Imported Labor Exemptions Act. I mean, they go creative with their
Yeah.
with their naming. But he's
Well,
introduced that to and his argument again is, it's taking away jobs from Americans. So so you have two or three Republican states. I think there's Florida, then there's Texas, and I know you mentioned Tennessee. Also
and then
supports it.
well,
Utah.
yeah, Utah, that's a senator,
Yeah, so
and
there's a sentiment out there. There's a sentiment out there that talks about like in Republican sentiment for sure, and then you have 20 odd um, Democratic states
yes,
opposing the $100,000 fee. They want more foreign labor. So now you have this $100,000 fee, which is being contested in the courts to appeal that, which we talked about in our previous discussion on YouTube. Um, because you wrote about that last week, and now you write about this request to eliminate the program entirely, or freeze it, or curb it, or stop taking students out of universities. So just putting a freeze on it. So there's a lot of attack on the program itself, and it affects a
mhm.
lot of students. So um, what do you hear on the ground though? Like in terms of, I mean, I know you talk to a lot of students or people who are affected by
Well, I
this.
was just up at Columbia, and I spoke to
Yeah.
a guy from who was on a fellowship from an Indian bank, and he said all of his friends were finishing their exams in December, and then
Mm.
they were going to go out on interviews with the companies because apparently that's what they do. They finish their study and then they go for the interviews. And then they were told that they wouldn't be able to have an interview. So he said that his friends, they just well, one of his friends actually just sort of just headed back to India, like, didn't even wait and then I've heard that the appointments, if they have an appointment, it's been postponed way into the future, which
Yeah.
makes it really difficult for everybody to plan,
Yeah.
and, so it's kind of and then on the other side, there was a comment to my story, this the last story that I wrote, that one guy was saying that there was abuses that he could see, but he still didn't think that the program should be eliminated, that it should just be, reformed or modified. And, if there are abuses or whatever, correct it. And, if it's unfair or however it's unfair, try to figure out a solution for that so that, I realize maybe it's not an equal playing field, but if,
Yeah.
American students have absolutely no chance if they have the right qualifications, then, if there's unfairness in that, then that has to be remedied. But I think they could do that easier legislatively remedying it. Whatever's wrong, $100,000 is not gonna solve a problem. Money never really solved the problem. It just indicates that
Yeah.
there is a problem because they have to charge us so much money.
Well, I mean, the other side of the story is that they're trying to curb it, right? So there is some regulation now, whether it's $100,000 fee that's going to stop the number of applicants or scrutinize how you bring in outside talent into the United States. If that is the right approach or not is a question. Yeah, money might not always solve that issue, but then you have this whole other side where Republican senators and in states want to put restrictions on it. I was just looking it up. I mean, I think there's a general sentiment that H-1B only affects Indians, but it's not, right? It's for all foreign students. Um,
Yeah, but it's just that the highest percentage
yeah,
of foreign country that gets, the most,
yeah.
I think Indian students get like 65%, 60%,
No, yeah. I was just
and
looking it up. It's 70 to 74%, I think, in the
well, yeah,
West
there
have
you go.
been Indian, and then China is second at about 12%, and then other countries like Philippines, Canada, South Korea, Mexico, roughly they all add up to 1%. So India is the largest. So it does impact Indians coming in for that kind of job. But I just want to pivot to the article you wrote last week, which was about the registrations opening up. I think you said
Right,
March 4th through March 17th. The USCIS has definitely opened up for the 2027 pool of people who want to come in, and that um, opens up in March, and then it's that initial screening period where they're going to have to pay $200, $215 per applicant. Each company will have to kind of put in those applicants, and they can submit as many as they want, and then USCIS is
right.
going to scrutinize it, and then by April 1st, they will let them know, okay, out of all the people you submitted, here are the people that are can proceed. And that it used to be a lottery system before. Now what they have released is like 4 levels that scrutinize people based on qualifications, which I think is a smart thing. Like, they put more emphasis on level 4, which is more people will be selected. You have a better chance of getting a person through if they are highly qualified. So your
Yeah.
PhDs and those kind of things. So that's what USCIS put out, which you wrote about last week. And so that's new. But then this comes in just yesterday from Republican senators and states pushing back even on that, saying that just hold off, don't take anybody in. We want to eliminate the program. This is not good. So I think there's a
Well
conflict right there itself.
yeah, I definitely agree, and as far as I understand it, when a bill goes into committee, it could actually, die in committee, or, be tabled, so it never gets out for a full vote. There's all kinds of things can happen. So we're at the beginning of the process. I just thought that it was important that everybody knows what's in the hopper,
Yeah,
before like something happens and somebody say, "Oh, we didn't know anything about it."
yeah,
And sometimes like calling your representatives or whatever. And I would encourage anybody who feels that maybe one of their relatives or whatever, an American student, hasn't been given a fair chance, I think they should complain about that to their representative or whatever. And but ask if that whatever it is, the unfairness can be remedied rather than just cutting out the whole program. I mean, you wanna have an equal playing to because if you playing field, because if everybody gets too concerned about themselves, like, and they don't think of other people in other nations, that's always never good, because it just sends out a really bad message to everybody else that you don't care enough about other people in other countries. And, America doesn't have a 4.1 billion population. Um, they there has been problems with jobs because of the economy, but it's not a kind of situation like in India where there's 100,000 jobs and then 1 million graduating students applying for those few jobs. And some people could say that's not my problem. But what if it's your relative? What if it's somebody that you knew and they were, like, harshly affected by this, um,
Yeah.
in your family. So it's just like putting yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yeah, that's why I like your reading your articles about this. You write about India on what is your publication on Substack called India Street. I want to just give everybody a shout out. If you're not following Larry, please follow Larry on Substack, India Street. He writes all things about India. And we recently had a YouTube episode where we talk about how he came up with India Street in the first place. But please follow Larry. Larry, keep writing about this. I know we just wanted to have a
Well,
quick
and and
connect. Yeah.
and any suggestions on anything you want discussed having to do with India, let me know because I'd love to research it, go into it, and find out whatever I can, and
Yeah,
then post it.
and eventually it'll fictionalize. You'll fictionalize into a book, right? Because you're an author and you write about India fictions.
Well,
But
yeah, I'm to do that because I'd like to put something together about India, although I'd have to update everything in the present time for when it was being published.
yeah, no, I'm glad you do. Again, all these real life stories that you write about can also find its way into fiction. But however people get their content, the message is clear. Right? We are global citizens, almost everybody, whether we live in this
Right.
country or that country, or whether you're born in this country or that. We live in a global community, so that needs to be thought. I think our government and our senators and lawmakers need to keep that in mind when they put in hard and fast rules like this that is happening on the H-1B front. So I'm glad we got to talk about it. Um, I think that's all for this time. This is a developing story. As more updates come in on H-1B issues, follow me or Larry. I on my platform on Substack and YouTube try to bring these stories to life now through video. And Larry is the writer who passionately writes about these things. So follow us and thanks, Larry, for making this work because I know we had trouble getting the live connection going between me and you. So I'm glad this worked out. Good stuff. Keep writing.
Thank you.